Welcome back to another Dead Space Let's Play.
What are you, like a pro gamer?
Yeah.
Or a pro gamer commentator? You know, I don't understand how esports people do that. I'm not trying to shit on esports here, but they make it sound so interesting.
When it's not.
When, to me, it's not. And it's impressive, you know? Like, it's impressive how these people play, but it's like, how do you make that sound so cool? Like, you're like, oh, he flanked him. Oh, he's coming up the back with a grenade. It's like, you're making it sound like a real war zone, and I'm just sitting here like, I don't know what I'm watching, but you're excited.
I think the thing is with those people is they like care a ton, you know, like that's the one thing that they're really passionate about. And like when you're really passionate about something, you get excited about it and you make it sound interesting because it is interesting to you.
So you're saying they don't fake it, they're really that into esports?
I think they are. Yeah, I think that there are people like that who are just genuinely that into esports, and that it's the one thing that they really enjoy. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not for me, though. I do think certain esports games are very fun. So I get why people enjoy them, but I probably wouldn't watch like a whole tournament on it.
Yeah, it's not really for me either, but I do get, like, the thing is, I understand competitive gaming is interesting to people to play, right? Like, if you are playing competitive gaming, like, you're up there, you're one of the best League of Legends players in the world, or you're one of the best, I don't know, players in the world of really anything, Halo, any of this stuff. It's super, it's super impressive what you can do, and I think it's really cool, but I don't think I could really commentate on it, because I'd just be like, oh, is he gonna get him? Oh, he got him. Oh, no. Oh, that's painful. Like, I don't feel like I'd be able to actually commentate on the specifics of what's going on. Like, do you think that, are all the people who comment on those games, are they people who played the game a lot, do you think?
Probably. I assume they're fans of it at the very least, and, like, I think to be an interesting commentator, you gotta comment on the nuances of it. Also, when you see those things, unless you want the commenters to get mad at you again, you gotta not shoot it in the stomach, remember?
I was shooting it in the limbs.
You got it in the stomach a couple times, and,
no one got mad at me.
You told me earlier, people in the Dead Space comments got mad at me because I shot the thing in the stomach, Jill. What do I do?
No, I didn't say it like that. I just said, oh, I guess people want me to shoot him in the arms. But I'm looking for a store because I don't have a lot of ammo right now.
I don't think there's one around here that you can get to at the moment.
You think we're just kind of stuck where we are?
Yeah, and I think you're just going to have to progress the game.
Let me look in here, because this I can get to. And a lot of times there's stuff by the tram station.
Oh, that's true. I think you can go through to the tram station.
I can. Let me look in here real quick for a second, too.
And we know for a fact there's a shop at the tram.
Yes, we do.
But yeah, I don't know. I think those people just kind of are... They're kind of like Alex, I think, from Podcast Now, where they're just good at talking and saying a bunch of stuff really quickly and, like, throwing a bunch of information out there and making it sound really interesting, you know?
Is that like a diss on Alex?
No,
or is
I'm
that
just
a compliment?
saying. I'm just saying he's good at what he does.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. I'm not shitting on it here.
No, I know.
I'm not saying like esports is for losers. I don't personally understand sitting down and watching an esports tournament. However, I also am not into sitting down and watching baseball games.
I do think it would be interesting if like it was two gamers I actually cared about. And watching them go head to head in something and like get a title for something.
Like
I think that would be
PewDiePie and Cryotic, and whichever one of them lost, that one had to be in trouble for the Cryotic situation.
I don't think we should go into that. He was talking to underage girls.
Was he actually? Is that proven or was it alleged?
I think it's proven because some messages came out that he was like, and now I don't know if he knew they were underage or not, but I do know that he flirted with girls who were teenagers. And personally, I mean, he's in his 20s, and I think at the time he was like in his younger 20s. I don't really see it as that weird because like when I was a teenager, I wanted to be with guys in their 20s too, you know? But like... I do think it's probably not the best for his career, and like people bullied him so badly about it that he just kind of quit YouTube, which is a shame.
To me, it depends.
I liked him.
Yeah, and it depends on the age gap. To me, like if you're saying he was like 21, And he was hitting on girls that were like 17 or something?
I think that's actually what was going on. It's like 16, 17, and he was like 21 to 23-ish.
To me, personally, I wouldn't do that because I don't want to get in trouble, and I'm married now.
Mm-hmm.
But I never would have done that, basically because people are really jumpy about it, and you come off like a ped.
Mm-hmm.
But my grandparents, or my great-grandparents, got married when they were 13.
Yeah,
So,
and
to me, it's kind of like, I don't really... personally, like, you're talking me personally, I don't really care.
Me personally, I also don't really care. I honestly don't find it that weird. Like, if you're... Like, the only thing that annoys me about it is that some of those girls sold him out on that and were mean to him when they were the ones who were flirting with him.
So you're calling victim shaming here.
I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna go talk to a over 20-year-old guy and he's over 20... maybe don't flirt with him. Like, if he starts at first, yeah, maybe I guess you can call him out if you're, like, a shit person, if you really want to. But if you're the one who's also engaging in it, like, when I was in school, if you hit somebody back, they called that not bullying. They said, like, if they hit you and you hit them back, then they weren't actually bullying you and that you were both in trouble, So I don't get why, like, now it's okay for the victim to be like, I was a victim, when at first they weren't, when at first they were fine with it and going along with it and happy about it.
I'm not disagreeing with you. It's a difficult thing because legally, as a under 18-year-old, you do not have the same rights and same... It is legally agreed upon that you do not have the right to consent to someone who is over that age because of the power imbalance. However...
I don't really believe in power imbalances.
I do to an extent. I mean, I believe in it when you talk about, like, a boss who says, like, I'm going to fire you if you don't get down on all fours and
like,
me.
that's a power imbalance.
I believe in it when it's, like, a high school teacher over, like, a kid who's, like, 16 or 17. I mean, if you're a high school teacher and you want to date an 18-year-old, I don't care. I just think it is a conflict of interest if they are your student.
Yeah.
Because you do have power over their grades and stuff, and even if you don't, even if you're not doing this, one, you're biased, no matter what you do. Because think about this. Someone's 18, they're a legal adult, right? They're a senior in high school, and they're going to fail their exam out of there. If you're putting your dick in that, like, I know that sounds crude, but I'm just saying, if you are more biased to pass that girl. Because you either have an emotional connection with her or you have something to gain, right? It's one of the two. And to me, when you have that situation where you have power over someone, that's what a power imbalance is.
But, like, when it's just a thing when you're, like, talking to some YouTuber, there's no power imbalance there. You got nothing to gain from just talking to a Let's Player, and he has nothing to gain from you.
It really depends on how much you idolize them, because if you idolize them to the point of, like, godhood, which is stupid and you shouldn't do anyway, then you do have something to gain, like, you think you have a potential relationship or future or fame or stuff. But I also would argue personally, and I know someone's going to get mad about this probably, that you do have some agency and free will and understanding of the consequences of your actions, and that if you're 17 and 354 days, that agency, consequences of your actions, and understanding doesn't change
when
in a day.
18, yeah.
That's my issue with it.
I never thought we'd be together again. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what I did. I never wanted to hurt you. You need to get it back now, Isaac. You can pilot the shuttle remotely from here. Make us whole again. Make us whole again.
Hey, she's right there. See, you cannot tell me if this girl was, like, 17 and she looks like that, and let's say Isaac is 21. Is there a power imbalance here? Like, they're just two people who like each other. Like, is that all of a sudden wrong if she's, 17, and he's 21, but then as soon as she turns 18, it's okay?
What is this? What is this stuff?
You know what I mean, though? I just find it kind of ridiculous, and I think you're old enough at that age to know what you're doing. And I think acting like a victim in that situation is actually kind of pathetic, in my opinion, because you can always just shut off your phone and be like, hey, I don't want to talk to this person anymore. Like, I've done that to guys before. I've decided, hey, I don't want to talk to him anymore. I don't like him. Or,
Isaac, what the hell are you doing? You're making a big mistake. This is not over.
What are we doing?
We're tractoring the ship back.
Oh
we
my.
pulled it back.
Escape pod away, crew shuttle USG-09. Repeat. Shuttle has ejected escape pod.
It doesn't matter. She can't escape her fate. None of us can.
She looks like she's on drugs right now. She didn't even say hi to us.
I'll reprogram the shuttle so we can fly down to the colony. God, we're so close, Isaac. Now go! Get on the shuttle. I'll meet you there.
Okay, hottie. Did you see how fat her ass was?
Oh, I did. Jill, the reason that I am hesitant to talk about what we are talking about is because people get so angry about it, and I don't really care about that, but I don't want to be insensitive to this issue, because I do know with things like the Ryan Haywood thing with like all these girls who he was hitting on who thought he was this huge celebrity. He was a YouTuber.
Yeah, he
Rooster
was an
Teeth.
achievement hunter.
With all that stuff.
I used to like him, actually. I really liked him. He was my favorite.
And all that I'm saying is with all of that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. You did have these girls who met up with him and he was emotionally manipulating them into having sex and saying things like, oh, my marriage isn't good and this and that. And like, allegedly, my opinion, whatever you want to call it. But like, there were tons of things leaked about it. And it's hard for me to talk about because, one, I think there are a lot of allegations that are fake, but I think there are a lot more that are real. And I think that not always, but often when someone does feel like a victim, there was some kind of problem there. But
Yeah,
not
I guess
always.
that's true.
Not
I think
always.
I think sometimes it's just people who are trying to be assholes and ruin somebody's career, and I think sometimes it's somebody got manipulated and abused, you know?
Right,
And I'm not the person to say, like, whether or not that happened or not, you know?
I don't
just
even
think,
disagree with you. I'm just saying it's so complicated.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, if you're
my.
the kind of person who's just doing it to be a jerk because that person decided they didn't like you and try to ruin their career and stuff, I think you're a shit person, and I don't really think that you're a victim. But if you are genuinely, like, manipulated and abused, because I have been before by people, then, like, I get it. Like, you were a victim, and what you're saying is valid, in my opinion.
Right. It's just hard to determine who is what, you know, because a lot of people...
I mean, really, you just gotta listen to their stories, I guess, and try to hope for the best.
Sure, but a lot of people do make stuff up, you know, like you said, and I think that that's kind of where it gets difficult because there are a lot of people who make things up, and on both sides who want to look better as the person who did something bad, or who want to look better as, you know, there are also women, like, we're not even talking just young, there are also women in their 20s who hook up with a guy and then claim later and then claim they didn't consent because they regret consenting.
Yeah.
That's not okay either. And I also recently saw something about this guy who he was hooking up with a girl. I don't know how far to take this for YouTube, and I'm waiting a second to go in here. There's this thing called stealthing where you pull someone's protection off before getting on them if you're a girl. And this girl did this to this guy. And in a lot of places that counts as sexual assault or rape. Even if you're a woman doing that to a man.
Wow.
And a girl did that to a guy, and he said that he had had an accident and doesn't have full feeling down there, so he didn't feel the condom come off. And this woman did that, and now she might get pregnant, and he could be liable for the baby.
I don't think he should be legally.
No, it's horrible. But that's what I'm saying is there are a lot of cruel and awful people in the world of both sexes and genders and whatever backgrounds, and it's sad.
That's awful.
You're doing the right thing, Isaac. We're together now. The way it always should have been. I knew you'd come back for me. Nothing can stop us now.
I think there's something wrong with her. I think she's gone crazy.
It does seem like there's something wrong with her. I was putting my headphone in to actually hear.
That's okay.
Isn't 12 the final chapter?
Yeah.
Huh.
I thought Kendra was on that ship.
Isaac, use one of the loaders to get the marker off the shuttle.
Why are we getting the marker off the shuttle?
I don't know.
I think she's trying to make us keep the marker here. Like they wanted.
Loader's offline.
I thought we were supposed to bring the marker back to its planet, though, to stop all this.
I thought so too. That is the marker, by the way. It looks kind of like that helix.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look around for a second. Interesting. It's like we're outside. Oh no, didn't we go down to the planet? It looks like we're on the planet.
Oh, okay, we're on the planet. Okay, I thought we were still on the ship. So maybe she is doing the right thing and she's just kind of gone a little crazy from seeing all of this and trying to survive, which is totally fine. I get it.
Possible, because they get dementia.
But where's Kendra? Kendra was on that shuttle.
She took an escape pod, remember? It said the escape pod ejected.
Oh, but she left the marker on the ship.
Yeah, she couldn't bring it with her, but she might be on the planet if she took an escape pod here.
She could be, yeah. Sorry, I just got very confused because I thought, I didn't realize that the escape pod came out of the shuttle. I thought, like, the shuttle was an escape thing and that it didn't have, like, another escape pod on it, I guess.
No, I understand. I think that we were talking about something very deep and dark, and it was kind of hard to, like...
Well, yeah, we were talking about underage girls, so...
Well, it was kind of hard to focus. I don't know. I think all of that stuff, when you get into that morally gray area, it gets very complicated, and you have to, in a way, you have to trust that the law is right, but the law can make mistakes too, and there can be people who are younger than you think should be manipulative, who manipulate older people too, and,
yeah.
You know, if you're a super genius and you're 15 and you're a special ed guy who's 30, there's a power imbalance there too that age doesn't have anything to do with.
Yeah.
So,
but like, there's also like the issue too of like maybe somebody.
The marker needs to be returned to the pedestal chamber. Use the loader to bring it there and place it on the pedestal. Replace what was taken and make us whole again.
There's also the issue of sometimes where like somebody will be going through a lot of grief or like heartache and stuff, or have gone through like a lot of abuse in their life too, and they'll be much more easily manipulated into like having sex with somebody if they don't want to, you know, because like that person could be like, oh, I'll make it all better, you know, you just have to trust in me, and then that person goes and like forces you to be with them, you know, and you don't realize what you're doing is wrong, sort of thing. And there are girls like that have that happen to them too, but there's also like girls who I feel like or who haven't had things like that happen to them and aren't easily manipulated, and I feel like are capable of making their own decisions, and then they decide later that they just want to ruin someone's career, which is also fucked up.
Right. Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, both clearly happen. Also, we did get the maximum amount of health now. It just really depends on who we are talking about.
And the situation, yeah.
Dear God, keep us safe from...
monsters.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. I think someone's probably going to get mad at us and try to cancel us on Twitter for this conversation. But anyway.
I don't think anyone cares about us enough, but I
mean, some of those people who like to be mean to you and like...
This is Sergeant Newman, PSEC. We've lost all the shuttles. One of them just took off and came straight back down and crashed into the bay. Took a couple of 100 people and all the remaining shuttles with it. If anyone can hear this, do not land. Do not land.
I was gonna say, there's some people who like to hate watch a lot of your videos, and then they'll bring up stuff you said, like, on Twitter to try and make fun of us. Like, the one thing where you talked about Cara Dune and, like, her stuff, and people were like, how dare he support that scandal? She's such a horrible person!
I don't even necessarily support her. I just think that unless, like, someone is promoting, like, pedo shit or trying to, you know, just, like... trying to, like, propagate terror attacks or something on their social media, I don't care what they have to say. Like, plenty of actors say stupid shit every day on their social media, and I don't care.
Yeah, but nobody cares what you have to say. They're just going to make it seem like you said the worst thing possible because they don't like you, sort of thing. You know, like, there's a ton of people who just like to hate watch videos, and I think it's really pathetic.
Well, that's fair. I mean, you can do that. It just adds to watch time.
I guess that's true.
I mean, it kind of helps us when people do that because we need the watch time in order for our channel to be successful.
That's true.
I just don't think people like that are worth giving much attention to unless you have, like, a point that you're making with calling attention to them, like, you know, hey, these people are stupid, like that kind of thing.
I didn't get why people cared so much about the Cara Dune thing, by the way, when she's just a Republican. Like, you know, a million other people in your life probably who are also Republicans, and you don't burn them at the stake.
They probably don't know who is and who isn't a lot of times, because a lot of times now Republicans keep it to themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. A lot of insecurity and a lot of misunderstanding, I think, with what an actual Republican is or what they believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's mainly what it is, because I think that a lot of people think that if you're a Republican, you're racist, or
Which isn't true.
or you're Christian. Also not true, by the way. One of our good friends is a pretty hardcore Republican, and he's probably an even harder core atheist.
Yeah.
So actually 2 of them. Well, one's agnostic, one's just straight up atheist.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you... And I would say they're both more Republican than... One's hardcore Republican, one's only conservative. And I'm not even talking about Nate or T, by the way. I'm talking about other people, so...
We can tell you're not talking about Nate or T, because they both went to your Christian school. So, you'd assume that they both believe in God.
Well, a lot of people, though, go to Christian schools and they don't believe in Christianity. Or
yeah, I guess so.
Or the hypocrisy of the school and institution pushes them away from a belief in God. That happens a lot, too.
That's true. That's always sad, though.
Jeez.
I think it's important to believe in things, and not just be someone who thinks nothing happens after life. But you can choose that if you want. I just think it's kind of
boring.
Sad. Yeah.
I think that it's important to believe in something.
I think it is too, because it gives people a lot of hope, and it makes life feel more worth living. I think sometimes, I don't know, I feel like it is much more exciting and comforting to live life when you're with someone and you're going to see them again after you die too, I guess.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what I think. And then when you're an atheist, you just kind of think a lot of them just kind of think there's nothing after death, and it's what's the point of living then?
Yeah, by the way, I'm just trying to figure out, am I supposed to move? I think I'm supposed to bring this...
Yeah, you're supposed to bring that to the shuttle and get the marker on it, and then bring it over here.
I just think it's sad for people who have no hope in something after life, but I don't necessarily care what it is that you find your hope in. I know what I believe, but, everybody has their doubts about what they believe, and I think that if there's something that gives you peace and comfort and you're not hurting anyone, I don't really mind. If you turned out to be wrong, well, that's between you and your maker or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or if I turned out to be wrong, that's between me and whatever exists out there, but I don't think that it's necessarily my place to
tell people what they're believing is right or wrong.
Right, to force them to believe what I believe. I will tell them what I believe, and I will tell them why I believe it, but I don't think that it's necessarily a great thing for me to be pushy about it, so I just am not. And
yeah, I always thought it was wrong to to force your beliefs on other people, because at the end of the day, you can these people can believe whatever they want. You're not going to change anyone's mind, If they want to believe in God, then they can, or if they don't want to, or they want to believe in something else, then they're going to, and nobody's really going to change their mind on that, I feel like.
That's kind of my issue with it, is you're kind of running a fool's errand, I think.
You're wasting your breath.
Where people have decided what they believe already, and they don't care what you have to say. You could... let's say there existed some irrefutable proof of Buddhism.
Yeah.
That Buddhism was 100% real. I could bring that onto YouTube tomorrow, and you would still have people who disagreed with it just out of spite, because they don't want to believe it.
And still believes their own thing.
Right, so when you get into these things where it's oh, well...
So you want to bring it onto that thing.
I know, I was just saving and stuff. When you get into these things, it gets kind of difficult to care that much what people believe, because they've decided what they want to believe, and you don't really have any impact on it.
Generally I care more about what people believe when I care about said person. One of my friends is very doesn't really they believe in God, I think, but are more of a pagan kind of person, and that's not something that I personally want to believe in, but it's not something that I'm going to go be mean to that person about or anything, and I care about the things that they have to say because they care about it.
It really depends on, too, again, the very specifics of who we're talking about as well, because if we're talking someone's being an edgelord and they're full of hate, and like some of those witchcraft people, like with paganism, where it's like, I'll put a spell on you because I disagree with you, I want to hex you.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Even if you disagree that stuff's real, it's like, really? So like from your point of view, you believe in these powers, but you want to use them to hurt people. You know what I mean? I think people that are full of hate in their hearts, that's where I have a problem with what they believe,